The doorbell echoed like a desperate heartbeat through the marble halls of the grand estate. On the other side stood a woman whose hollow eyes carried the weight of 1,000 silent cries, and in her trembling arms, a little girl clung like a withered leaf in a storm. Her clothes were frayed, her cardigan dotted with tiny holes, and her face bore the fatigue of someone who had walked too far for too long, not just across miles, but across battles, regrets, and empty nights. She didn't ask for money. She didn't beg for shelter. With a voice fragile like cracked porcelain, she simply said, "Can I clean your house, for a plate of food?" Inside, the man who opened the door, one of the wealthiest figures in the city, looked at her face, and froze. His fingers loosened from the door handle. His breath caught. Because this wasn't just a stranger. This was her. The woman he had once failed. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of humanity to rise even from the lowest places, please like this video, comment your thoughts, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to Kindness Corner. These stories are more than entertainment. They're reminders of the goodness we still need in this world. Her name was Elena. Years ago, she had been full of laughter, dreams, and the kind of innocence that believed everything in life would eventually fall into place. But life, she learned, didn't always reward the kind-hearted. After marrying young to a man who promised stars and delivered scars, she found herself abandoned with a toddler and a hospital bill she couldn't pay. One by one, her lifelines unraveled. Her job, her apartment, her friends who slowly drifted away when help became routine. Eventually, she was sleeping on a church bench with her daughter cradled tightly in her arms, whispering fairy tales into the wind just to drown out the growl in her child's stomach. Each day, Elena roamed the wealthier neighborhoods, hoping someone might offer a sandwich, a warm jacket, or simply a moment of compassion. Most doors remained closed. Some offered polite refusals. Others didn't open at all. But today felt different. Something, call it desperation, intuition, or divine orchestration, pulled her to that house. A house so pristine, so perfectly out of reach, that even stepping onto the stone path felt like trespassing on another world. Still, hunger doesn't recognize boundaries. She knocked. Inside, Liam Whitmore had just returned from a board meeting that had secured a $20 million contract. The media called him a visionary. Colleagues called him ruthless. But behind the designer suits and glass towers, he was a man who rarely looked back, until that knock shattered something buried deep. When he saw Elena standing there, his eyes widened. Time folded inward. His thoughts scattered. Because years ago, before money and mergers, before marble floors and media praise, he had known her. She was the girl who once stood in line behind him at a college food drive, quietly paying for her instant noodles while counting every dime. She was the girl who had smiled at him on rainy afternoons in the library, when they were both broke but alive with purpose. They were never close, but she had always left a mark, her gentleness, her dignity, her way of making even silence feel warm. And one night, he had seen her being screamed at by her boyfriend outside a diner. He could have intervened. He should have. But he had turned away. That guilt had long been sealed behind walls of ambition. Until now. He let them in. The grand foyer, polished and quiet, now echoed with the hesitant footsteps of a woman who no longer belonged in such spaces. Elena tried to explain, apologizing as if her hunger was an inconvenience. But Liam was somewhere else, caught between the past and the present, shame and duty. He brought food, placed it gently in front of the child first, and then watched as Elena, eyes shimmering, hesitated before eating. Pride and pain are strange companions. As the hours passed, Liam learned fragments of her story: the abusive marriage, the shelter she had lost when funding dried up, the nights spent at bus terminals and alleyways. But she never once blamed the world. She simply said, "It's just what happened." Her resilience was louder than any pity. The next morning, Liam did something uncharacteristic. He cancelled his meetings. He found a guest room and quietly placed a pair of new clothes, a toothbrush, and a folded note that read, "Stay as long as you need." Elena cried silently as she read it, clutching her daughter closer. It wasn't just a bed or food. It was acknowledgement. It was dignity. But the world doesn't change overnight. Trust had to be rebuilt. Elena struggled with the guilt of accepting help, afraid it was conditional. Liam struggled with guilt of another kind, that he had risen so high while people like Elena had fallen unnoticed. Slowly, they talked more. Elena began helping around the house, not out of obligation, but out of purpose. She cleaned, organized, cooked small meals. Her daughter started smiling again, laughing in the garden, playing piano in the hallway. For the first time in years, joy returned to her voice. One afternoon, Liam returned from a charity gala and found Elena sitting by the window, sketching a little garden design. She once studied architecture before her world collapsed. He encouraged her to draw again. She resisted at first, but soon, her designs were adorning the walls of his office. His clients noticed. One of them, a major hotel chain owner, asked who had created the layout. Liam pointed to Elena. That single referral turned into a freelance project. That project turned into 3 more. And within a year, Elena was running her own small design consultancy from a laptop Liam had gifted her on her birthday. But the most touching moment came on a cold December morning. Elena came to Liam holding an envelope. She had saved enough for a small apartment. "You've done more than I could ever repay," she whispered. Liam held the envelope but didn't open it. Instead, he walked her and her daughter to the front of the house, where a fresh sign read, "Whitmore Foundation for Women and Children." It was Elena's idea. A shelter, a support system, a place where no mother would ever have to beg for food in exchange for dignity. As the sun rose behind them, the little girl tugged on Liam's sleeve and said, "Are you going to be our family now?" Liam knelt down, holding back tears. "I already am." If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you of the power of second chances, of unseen pain, of how one act of kindness can change everything, please like this video, share it with someone who might need hope today, and don't forget to subscribe to Kindness Corner. We're not just telling stories. We're reminding the world that empathy still exists. Speech balloon special request: before you go, please leave a comment below. Just a heart emoji, or a few words, whatever you feel. Your comment might be the light someone else needs today. Ask ChatGPT.